thread turning on a CNC lathe is a complex machining operation. The good news is, most controllers have a built-in function, usually G76, that handles these complexities for you. However, to truly master thread turning and use G76 like a pro, you need to understand the technical terms and parameters that make it all work. Erez here, from the Machining Doctor website, and in this video, I will break it all down for you. Before we dive into the technical details, I want to mention that on the Machining Doctor website, we have a G76 code generator that can write the G-code for all types of controllers. You'll find the link for it in the description below. However, to use this generator effectively and get the best results, it's still critical that you understand the technical terms I am about to explain. Let's start with the basic G76 format. We'll use here the Fanuc one-line format as our example. But the principles apply to other controller formats as well. The syntax looks like this: G76, followed by parameters, X, I, K, D, A, F, P, Q, and an optional M. Now, let's break down each parameter. X represents the diameter of the last pass. For external threads, this is the minor diameter, and for internal threads, it's the major diameter. Z defines the thread's end position along the axial axis. This is simply where you want your thread to end. I is the amount of taper over the total length, measured per side. You'll use this for NPT and BSPT threads. For parallel threads, simply enter 0. K represents the profile height, expressed in microns. This is the total depth your threading tool needs to cut. We'll cover how to calculate this later in the video. D is the depth of the first threading pass, also in microns. It controls how aggressively you start cutting and affects the total number of passes. We will delve deep into it in a later part of this video. Parameter A defines the thread V angle. Your options are limited to 0, 29, 30, 55, 60, or 80 degrees. 0 degrees is used only for radial infeed. F is the feed rate, which equals the thread's lead. Normally, in single start threads, this is simply the pitch. The P parameter controls the infeed method, and this is where things get interesting. P1 gives you flank or modified flank feed with constant volume. P2 provides alternating flank feed, also with constant volume. P3 is flank or modified flank feed with constant depth. And P4 gives you alternating flank feed with constant depth. Don't worry if it seems confusing now, since I will break it down shortly. Finally, Q is the spindle rotation shift angle. The range is from 0 to plus or minus 360,000. This function is essential for cutting multiple start threads. For example, in a 3-start thread, the shift angle between each thread is 120 degrees. So you'd use Q equals 0 for the first start, 120,000 for the second, and 240,000 for the third. Now that we have clarified the syntax, I will explain the fundamental terms you need to understand in order to assign the correct values for each parameter. I will start with the most important thing, and that is which infeed method to use. Radial infeed is the most straightforward method. It's available on all controllers and can even be used on a manual lathe. This method works best for fine pitches, below 16 threads per inch or 1.5 millimeters, and for short chipping materials, like brass and free cutting steel. The advantages include its simplicity for manual programming and the even wear on both flanks of the cutting edge. However, it has significant disadvantages. Chip control is poor, the tip is exposed to high temperatures, there's a risk of vibration due to high cutting forces, and the depth per pass is limited, resulting in longer cycle times. You also can't use inserts with chip formers. Flank feed is a good all-around infeed method that's available on all controllers. It's particularly useful for coarse pitches, above 24 TPI, or 1 mm, and for trapezoidal profiles like Acme. The advantages include better chip flow, the ability to use inserts with chip breakers, lower chance of vibrations, and higher depth of cuts per pass, which improves cycle time. The main disadvantages are that it's not suitable for fine pitches below 24 TPI, and it causes asymmetric wear on the cutting tool. The modified flank method uses the same principle as regular flank feed, but it's slightly angled to avoid the cutting edge rubbing against the generated profile. Not all controllers support this method, but if yours does, it's generally a better choice than regular flank feed. The implementation involves subtracting twice the slant angle from the profile angle. For example, for a 60-degree thread, with a modified flank cycle using 3 degrees, you'd enter 54 degrees instead of 60. The advantages include the best chip flow, less flank wear, and lower cutting load compared to regular flank feed. The only real disadvantage is that it's not available on all controllers. The alternating flank feed is another advanced method where the cutting tool engages with the workpiece from opposite sides on each pass. This results in an even wear distribution, but it's not supported by all controllers. It is most beneficial for longer tool life, in pitches greater than 5 threads per inch or 5 mm, where there's significant material to remove. The advantages include even wear, longer tool life, and reduced load compared to radial Infeed. However, controlling chips becomes difficult since they're flowing in both directions. Now that we have finished covering the feed methods, let's move on to talk about depth per pass strategies. But before we do that, I have a small favor to ask. If you appreciate my efforts, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, it really means a lot. The feed in threading is dictated by the pitch and is much larger than in regular turning. And the profile height sets the total depth of cut. Therefore, cutting threads in multiple passes is the only way to control the load. There are 2 main methods to divide the total depth into passes. The first one, constant depth, divides the depth equally between passes, and the depth of cut remains the same in each pass. However, the chip load increases from pass to pass. The advantages are better chip control and reduced load on the cutting edge tip. However, it's less productive, requiring more passes, and the load increases in later passes, increasing the risk of vibrations. The constant volume method decreases the depth in each pass to maintain consistent chip load. This uses more complex calculations, but the result is a shorter cycle time with fewer passes and less vibration. The disadvantage is problematic chip control in later passes, as the depth becomes very small. You can find the relevant formulas on the Machining Doctor website, and I will leave the link to it in the description. Up till now, you got the information to properly select parameter P. Now, let's determine the thread height, which is parameter K. For external threads, it is measured from the flat or rounded crest, which is the major diameter, to the theoretical apex of the root. For 60-degree parallel threads, like standard metric and inch threads, this equals 0.61343 times the pitch. Determining the first cut depth, parameter D, involves 2 approaches. Option 1 is to decide the largest depth your cutting edge can handle. This will be set as the first pass, and the controller will calculate the number of passes accordingly. This method is the default in most controllers. Option 2 is to decide how many passes you want, and calculating the first pass depth accordingly, which you should then set as parameter D. The formulas depend if you are in constant depth or constant volume mode. I will not go into them now, but you can check them out on the Machining Doctor website. Some controllers offer additional parameters to customize the cycle further. You might be able to configure things like a chamfer at the end of the thread or an additional finish pass. Again, depending on your controller's capabilities. Understanding these parameters and methods will dramatically improve your thread turning results. Remember, the key to success is matching the right infeed method and depth strategy to your specific application and considering factors like material, pitch, and required tool life. Don't forget to check out our G76 G-code Generator on the Machining Doctor website, where you can see all this theory in action and get the NC code for any controller. With the knowledge you've gained from this video, you'll be able to use the generator more effectively and achieve better results in your next thread turning operation. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.